back here again tonight with the third segment of Chainbreakers. And with me tonight, I have a special guest, Norris Streetman, who will also be sharing a little bit here in a few minutes. But as we know, the first segment we did, we kind of gave you a introduction as to who we are and what we do. And then last week, we talked with you in reference to the first step of any 12-step fellowship, that we admitted we are powerless over our problem. And when we say our problem, it can be anything. And then there's a hyphen there, two parts of that first step, that our life is unmanageable. And as we shared last week, that there's no one that can give you that step. It has to come from within. And so the point is that if by logic, it says we are powerless over our problem, and our life has become unmanageable, then the opposite of powerless is power. That's why we come to believe in a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. And in this step, and also the third step, is where schism starts within the mainstream church and the secular 12-step programs. But in Chainbreakers, we do identify this power. We call it Christ. We can also say he's anonymous, Jesus C. But the point is, though, and why we're sharing this, is that Overcomers Outreach, or Chainbreakers, as we shared in the first segment, we are a bridge between the 12-step programs and church. So with this in mind, let's look at step two. It says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Again, as I shared, in Chainbreakers, we identify that power as the ultimate power of Christ. So let's look at this. A man is a fool to trust himself, but those who use God's wisdom are safe. That's from Proverbs 28:26. Then it says here, and it's also on your screen, it says God can. We had lost hope that things would ever change. Our prayers seemed like to stop at the ceiling. Has anybody ever felt like that? I know I have. Getting to a place of believing that our higher power, quote, higher power, Christ, can really help us out of the, quote, impossible pit of despair, of our addictions or obsessions with another person, is a giant step. This takes the kind of power that only He can provide. And I'm going to stop right there and realize that if I had the power, my life would not have been unmanageable many years ago, which it can at times still be. So the point is, it says, restored to our sanity, assumes that we have been insane. I'm going to stop there and say that realizing that I thought the same thing. I mean, I saw that word, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I thought, no, wait a minute. If I'm going to be restored to sanity, that must mean I'm insane. And I started correlating that insanity to the behavior I did out there when I was under the influence of many things. Fortunately, I got a person who became my mentor and sponsor in this 12-step fellowship. And he had me look up the word sanity in the dictionary. And I was surprised to find that the word sanity in the dictionary means complete and whole. Wow, I had no idea. But the point is, though, is that the sanity they're talking about being restored to in these fellowships is not the behavior we did. That's just called under the influence. We're talking about the state of mind preceding that first drink, that first drug, that first look at the porn, the first obsession that you think you can do something about somebody else's problem. That's the insanity we're talking about here. So the point is, step 2 says we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves, again, Christ, who can restore us to sanity. But then it goes on along to say, says most of us resent hearing this, having believed that the problems were due to something or someone else. Rigorous honesty causes us to admit that our lives have become pretty insane, and drugs, alcohol, or our obsession with another's behavior usually has been involved. Addiction itself is recognized as a form of insanity because we continue to use or drink even though we have destroyed our lives. When we find some temporary sobriety, we may experience a, quote, slip back into the same course of destruction. Our Lord has the power of necessary to heal us and restore us and focus us to some peace and serenity we never thought possible, no matter how bad it had been. And I really love that last sentence. Our Lord has the power to necessary to heal us and restore us to some peace and serenity we never thought possible. I'm not going to go into my story tonight, but the fact is, though, for many, many years, I went out to try to find it. I never knew what it was, but I was trying to find it. I was trying to find peace. I was trying to find serenity. But I was looking though for on the outside, not the inside. So the point is, when I came into this 12-step fellowship, and they showed me how I can find peace and serenity, it was amazing. Because you see, again, in these 12-step fellowships, and I keep harping on the plural of 12-step fellowships. Alcoholics Anonymous was the first original 12-step program. But because of the success of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12-step process, last time I heard, there was over 240 different 12-step fellowships. And all we do is change that one word in step one, that we're powerless over blank. Our life is unmanageable. As we know, there's Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Codependents Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, AA to ZA. You name it, there is. But see, step 1, 2, and 3, I'm getting myself right with the God of my understanding. And see, again, another schism within the church and the 12-step fellowships, as you understand them. But see, in Chainbreakers, though, we're going to be the bridge between the traditional 12-step programs in church. So, if I can right with the God of my understanding, step 1, 2, and 3, I get right with myself, step 4 through 7. I get right with you and my fellow man and my past, step 8 and 9. If I'm right with my God and with myself and with you, I'm everything I was ever born to be. I'm complete. I'm whole. That's why in the dictionary that word sanity is defined as complete and whole. I continue that in step 10. I improve that in step 11, and I share that in step 12. By this time, though, it says in the last part of step 12, it says, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. So today, I get to live out there in that real world with those real problems and not have the thought of a drink, a drug, or anything else. Okay? And that's only as a result of the 12-step process. But it starts, though, with step 1, admitting we're powerless. Again, the opposite of powerless is power. That's why we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves that could restore us to sanity. And again, I'm going to emphasize this, that in Chainbreakers, we call that power Christ. So as a result of that, it does work, and I guarantee you it will work for anybody. We have a guest here named Norris Streetman, and he's going to share with you about how step 2 is related to his life.
You know, Jim, I really appreciate you. I've known you for over 30 years.
That's right.
and you've been there for me. And I remember when you first decided to set this program up at the church, I was really questioning your sanity. But I tell you, one of the wonderful things that I have found out about Jim is he followed God's calling. And what an inspiration you are, Jim. I mean, you're human, and you bring that humanity to the classroom, and where I haven't ever seen it in a Baptist church, where you can be honest. You know, it's not one of these days that, oh, everything's fine. Everything's just fine. Everything's fine. It's not fine.
No, it's not fine.
You know, things happen. And I remember when you texted me last night and you said, remember, we have this interview we're going to do. And I'm thinking, well, what am I going to say? And I'm thinking, well, I'm just kind of going to let God figure that one out. And I'm just going to be along for the ride. And I think that's just life. We are along for the ride. And where we have to trust, we have to believe that there is a power greater than ourselves, because trust me, if you start watching the news, you can absolutely buy into it and go crazy.
Exactly.
And realize, I would like to fix this, I'd like to fix that, if they would just listen to me. And then as you're doing all this, someone cuts you off in the middle of the road, and then you completely go haywire. But I am learning. And I say that today because I don't know everything, but the Christ in me, the Christ in me does. And the God that created this world, this universe, lies within each and every one of us. And you know, Christianity, Christ, either he is a charlatan or he is real. You know, he claimed that he was the Son of God. Not any other religion has ever said that. And people, I've listened to people say, well, you know, Christianity is just like the other religion. I have to beg to differ.
No, it's not.
It is not. Because Christ says, I am the way. And I have found out, if I will listen to that inner spirit, when Christ tells me something, man, life is so much easier. And I have learned that I don't know. And I have learned that Crazyville is still around us. And I have learned that I've constantly got to reach out to Christ, constantly reach out to this inner voice, because I still want to change things. I still want to get people to turn the way I think they should. And sometimes people aren't going to do what I say.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, come on now. Come on. Really?
That's the truth. You know, and they don't want to listen to what I have to say. And I'm going, I've got it. I've got the answer. Just listen to me. But Christ has the answer. And I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful I'm here.
Yeah.
Because step 2 revolutionized the way I look at life. It revolutionized the way I look at life because I'm not in control. And until you let go and let God, let Christ in your life, and let him be in control of your life, you're going to spin in circles over and over, because you're always trying to take control. You're always trying to turn the wheel to where you think it's best. And I truly don't have the answers to my problems. I really don't, Jim.
Well, I'm amazed at that. And the fact is, see, you just admitted you're powerless.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Step 1.
Yeah.
Unmanageability. But the fact is, though, You came to believe in a power greater than yourself that could restore you to sanity.
You know, many times that come to believe is like someone's taking a two before and hitting you in the head.
Oh, definitely.
Life hits you in the head.
Oh, definitely.
Before you're willing to admit Christ is the answer.
That's right. And the fact is, Stephen, we're not here, well, if we touch somebody, wonderful. But we're not here to be evangelists or anything else. All we're doing is sharing what has happened in our life.
Sharing our life to another person. And it's
that's
God, it's Christ that saves. It's not us.
That's right. And the fact is, right now, I'm going through a dilemma with, I won't go into details, but I mean, yesterday I had to admit complete powerlessness
Yes.
over a situation.
Yes.
And I got to work and realized that I have come to believe in a power greater than me that can restore me to sanity in this regard.
That's right.
So the point is, today, this morning in my meditation, I just realized that, there's nothing I can do. Just why worry?
We have flaws and our faith wanes, but Christ is there.
Exactly.
Christ is there, and that strength is there if we can get past all the life issues, problems that we think.
That's right. And so the point is, like I said, though, this will be on the screen, Psalms 30 says, I will exalt you, O Lord, for you've lifted me up out of the depths, and I did not let my enemies gloat over me. O Lord my God, I called you for help, and you healed me. O Lord, you brought me up from the grave. You spared me from going down to the pit. Sing to the Lord, you saints of his, praise his holy name. So the point is, like I said, that I know in my personal life, God has raised me from the dead, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I did admit I was powerless over my life. My life was unmanageable. And the fact is that I know that today I have come to believe in a power greater than myself that's going to restore me to sanity. I don't have to, my thinking is no longer the way it was yesterday even. So it really works. It really, really, really works. So if there's any member on the screen, we meet every Sunday morning at 9:45 a.m. at First Baptist Tulsa at 4th and Cincinnati, room 428. And in our class, or in this life group we call it, we're going to be sharing our experience, our strength, and our hope. If a person's off the street and they need help, we'll be there to help them. But that's not who we minister to. We're there to help the person off the pew who is begging for help but has nowhere to go within the church. And there's thousands, if not millions of them every Sunday morning. And
as there's a athletic club, it says we're a free, no judgment zone.
Exactly. And that's what we emphasize, that we're not there to point fingers at you. We're not there to give you any shame or guilt. We're just there to be saying the two words you're begging to hear, I understand. And most importantly, welcome home.
Yes, amen.
Let's walk through this together. And the point is, like I said, though, if you need anything from either Norris or I, you can get a hold of me at area code 918-810-4759, or my email, jpbehb@cox.net, or Sunday morning, 9:45, Chainbreakers, room 428, First Baptist Tulsa. Thank you.